Sign advertising a block party at the home of a registered sex offender is causing some concern in Rancho Bernardo.
Now, that sign was posted by a contractor that had recently renovated the home. As 10 News reporter Matt Boone shows us, it even invited children to the event.
This quiet street in Rancho Bernardo is part of the Seven Oaks HOA, a 55 and older community dotted with single-story homes with tidy yards. But yesterday, outside a home on Bernardo Oaks Drive, this large sign appeared saying, quote, "We would like to invite you and your kids to a neighborhood get-together." That raised red flags for neighbor Susan Sutherland.
I always keep an eye on that house because I know that there's a registered sex offender that lives there.
Sutherland says she looked up her neighborhood on Megan's Law 4 years ago before moving in and found this. Todd Gusky, now 53 years old, was convicted of lewd acts on a child under 14 in 1996. So she felt compelled to stop the event.
I've come from a background of abuse, and I can't live with myself if I allow a child to get hurt. I can't live with that.
Gusky lives with his mother, who owns the home. She's the one that hired the contractor, Eller Energy, to do the roof, windows, and paint. 10 News reached out to Eller Energy, which told us they often hold neighborhood events to show off their work. They say they had no prior knowledge that a sex offender lived there, but have since canceled the event and removed the sign. Other neighbors told 10 News they were not concerned, saying Gusky keeps to himself. But Sutherland says this should be a reminder for all homeowners and businesses to stay vigilant.
You just have to be your own advocate. You really do, and you have to know it's there and handle it appropriately.
In Rancho Bernardo, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Now, sex offenders in California can be publicly searched online at meganslaw.ca.gov.
The decision to let a cop killer out of prison early now goes to the governor. Jesus Cecina killed San Diego police officer Archie Buggs back in 1978 during a traffic stop. Under California law, Cecina's grant of parole becomes final within 120 days. The governor has the authority to reverse that decision without sending it back to the board for review. Cecina was approved parole 3 times before, but those decisions, they were all overturned by Governor Brown. A decision will likely come in January of 2019.
Now to a 10 News follow-up. 2 men were on board a small plane that crashed in Descanso. The FAA says the wreckage was found about 17 miles northeast of Gillespie Field. It took off from that airport Wednesday evening and didn't return as scheduled. The names of the men are being withheld pending family notification. They were 77 and 36 years old. The cause of the crash is under investigation.
Traffic will be even more backed up in Coronado for the next several days while crews work to fix a water pipe that broke earlier this week. Pomona Avenue at 6th Street will be closed from 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon until Tuesday, August 28th. Traffic will be detoured onto A Avenue and Margarita Avenue. That water pipe broke after a city contractor accidentally hit it while doing work in the area. About 20 homes in the area were left without water.
Now to a developing story. One of President Trump's top confidants granted immunity in connection with the investigation that led to Michael Cohen's guilty plea this week. Alan Weiselberg was called to testify before a federal grand jury.
ABC's Kenneth Moten shows us how the president is reacting.
The fallout from the criminal investigation into President Trump's former personal attorney.
Mr. President, are you worried about Alan Weiselberg's immunity deal?
President Trump ignored questions at the White House Friday after the news broke about the Trump Organization's longtime chief financial officer. Sources say Alan Weiselberg talked to federal prosecutors in the Cohen case. He was granted immunity, but sources say it doesn't appear Weiselberg helped the feds on any other matter. The CFO, seen here next to Trump on The Apprentice, is the second person we've learned this week who was offered a deal in exchange for information. A source tells ABC News tabloid king and Trump ally David Pecker was given immunity, agreeing to give up information about Cohen and the president. Cohen pled guilty to campaign finance violations for hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels in 2016. According to court documents, Cohen and Pecker, publisher for the National Enquirer, worked together to silence Daniels and Playboy playmate Karen McDougal. Both claim they had sexual affairs with the president years before he ran for office. The documents also allege the 2 men came up with a plan in 2015 to catch and kill negative stories about Trump. The National Enquirer writing positive stories about Trump's 2016 run while trashing his opponents. The AP reports the tabloid even kept a safe containing documents related to the president. ABC News has also learned after Cohen's guilty plea in federal court about the hush money payment, a source says the Manhattan District Attorney is considering charges against the Trump Organization. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the outrage is growing after a Houston police officer was in a struggle with a suspect while a security guard was standing by recording it, even as the officer was begging for help. The police officer tackled and pinned down a robbery suspect with help from a bystander. Police say the suspect reached for the officer's gun during the fight. Meanwhile, an off-duty security guard started filming while the officer pleaded for help.
The security guard could have called 911, but it adds insult to injury to not do that and then start recording with your phone.
That security guard has been fired. The company she used to work for said their policy requires a uniformed guard to help officers upon request.
What a scene there. Volkswagen accused of ruining Mexican crops. The weather alerting cannons it's now pledging to stop using.
And it's a big day for freshmen at SDSU as they move into the dorms ahead of the school year. We were there for the bittersweet day.
And let's get another check on traffic. Once again, here's Officer Mary Bailey. How's it look now, Mary?
Well, right now we do have some slowing southbound 163 at Balboa, and that's because we do have a collision there. Everything is on the right shoulder, though. And here's a live look at the 15 at Rancho Bernardo Road, where you can see that northbound traffic does have some slowing there. That's because we do have a collision just north of here. Remember, if you're going to drink this weekend, don't drive. Designate a sober driver. I'm Officer Mary Bailey with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Well, thousands of freshmen are settling into their new dorms at San Diego State University tonight. Today was primary freshman move-in day. While it was an emotional day for parents, many new students are looking forward to starting the new school year.
I'm excited to grow up and I think I'm ready to live my own life and be successful.
Well, good luck to her. 5,700 students will be living in campus housing this year, which is the most in the school's history. Most of the students living in the dorms are freshmen and sophomores. The school says it's hoping to add more housing to accommodate upperclassmen in the future.
Parents are sad. Kids are like, see ya.
Woohoo!
See ya. The homeless crisis is causing some new problems for library goers in Pacific Beach. Our 10 News reporter Amanda Brandeis found out some of them are even hanging their clothes on playgrounds there. Amanda.
Well, this is just the latest in a string of complaints of this library over the years. People tell me they've seen illegal drug activity, bike chop shops right outside the library. This is what you were referring to, using this swing set as a clothesline. But now they have another concern. The library has updated its sleeping policy. Before, if you were caught sleeping in the library, you would get kicked out for the day. Now the library has relaxed that policy, and neighbors tell me they have some big concerns. But coming up at 6, I'll tell you why the library's defending that decision.
Wow, something I have never seen before. Clothes on the swing set.
No.
Wow. Thank you, Amanda. Look forward to that. Horton Plaza is getting a new look.
It's a lot more empty here than it was a couple years ago.
Why people will no longer be coming to only shop here once the transformation is finished. Well, this is an image of what Horton Plaza could look like in just a couple of years. The iconic mall was once a staple in downtown, but is now a shell of its former self.
No doubt. Our 10 News reporter John Horn broke the news of the mall in escrow and explains how the redevelopment plan could bring thousands of high-paying jobs to San Diego.
San Diegans could soon be coming to Horton Plaza not to shop, but to work. They could work in a place that looks like this, a far cry from the Horton Plaza that Vera Chart Murphy walked through today.
It's a lot more empty here than it was a couple years ago.
He noticed shuttered storefronts and only a few vendors. It's because Horton Plaza hasn't adapted like Fashion Valley or UTC. It has little to offer beyond retail.
Yeah, Amazon's just way too easy not to use, right?
Enter Stockdale Capital Partners, known for redeveloping struggling malls into modern office and retail spaces. The firm just bought the Horton Plaza Mall with a plan to create the campus at Horton. It would open up the center with a boardwalk down the middle. Plans call for boutique shops on the ground floor and modern office spaces to attract leading-edge companies above.
We're ripe in downtown for a office explosion.
Commercial real estate analyst Gary London says downtown has seen a building boom when it comes to housing, but not offices, forcing those who live there to commute miles daily.
And there's been a big move in corporate America to marry the places where people work with the places where people live.
This project aims to rebalance that with 3,000 to 4,000 new jobs.